Hi, I'm Professor Alastair Pearce from Working with Creatives, the organisation that helps you work with your creative colleagues. Do you know Artiste? Does she work in your company? Artiste is the colleague who loves the creative work she produces and is totally absorbed by it. It's almost a projection of herself, her child, her creative genome sent out into the world. Great. Yes. Lovely. Yes. It's wonderful to have such a creative and dedicated colleague. But what happens if you're working in a team with Artiste and want constructively to comment on her work? To Artiste, you're criticising her child and, by genetic association, Artiste herself. How do you talk to any parent about their less than perfect child? In my experience, carefully, very carefully. Artiste doesn't like teamwork, for it runs the risk of diluting, even polluting and negating her signature creativity by letting others' creative DNA into her exclusive vision. So there she is now. She's getting on with her work alone in her corner of the office. And then in walks her manager. I'll call her Deadline. And she's creative too, but in a rather different way. I'll explain. The idea comes from Elsbach and Brown, Sorrentino and Flynn's article in the Harvard Business Review. It suggests that only about 20% of creatives are like Artiste, seeing themselves as creators of unique artistic visions, whilst about 80% of creatives self-identify as problem solvers. And Artiste's manager, Deadline, is one of these, a problem solver. And today's problem to be solved is getting Artiste to finish her project before the deadline. Fortunately, Deadline, the manager, has got some ideas on how Artiste can alter what she's producing to make that timescale. The manager is happy. Her ideas for speeding things up are sensible. She's pleased she's going to be helpful to Artiste and is looking forward to their little chat as she walks over to Artiste's desk. You're ahead of me. You can see the clash about to happen. Artiste will see Deadline suggestions as an attempt to take over her project and therefore, because the project is an expression of Artiste herself, as an attack on her as a human being. And Deadline will be baffled at Artiste's negative reaction to her helpful and constructive suggestions. Ouch. Okay, so imagine you are Deadline. How should you handle the conversation you're about to have with Artiste? How can you avoid that imminent road crash? What should you say? And just as importantly, how should you say it? Will you listen as much as you talk? Will you ask her questions or just tell her your solutions? I'm sure, even if based solely on this little introductory video, you'll now have some good ideas about how to handle the chat with Artiste. But there's lots more to Artiste's creativity and therefore lots more to say about working with her. So if Artiste really does work in your company, and I sincerely hope she does, for she makes deeply creative and articulate work, then come along to Working with Creatives website at workingwithcreatives.co.uk to find out how we can help you work even more effectively and happily with Artiste.